plenty of gear to choose from. I'm going to see if I can find something for these burns. You better get some gear.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the table.
Got to be a sword or two in these chests. Look around.
More importantly, welcome to Skyrim, the debut game and series on my channel. Let me equip these real quick. And I'm going to let him do a scripted movement so that I have time to provide a small intro. A little about the series and a little about the character. The character, this gentleman, he is a Nord. His name is Svaknir. He, as of the time he was put onto the prisoner cart, he was a civilian and was also part of a local militia, as he was a miner in the small mining settlement of Darkwater Crossing. And Darkwater Crossing happens to be the little junction, I guess, that the Imperials set an ambush for those Stormcloak soldiers, and more importantly, Ulfric Stormcloak. Svaknir here was basically minding his own business. He does have a bit of experience, moderate experience in hunting, and he was actually just off hunting near Darkwater Crossing. And in a bit of confusion and in the heat of the moment, in the sense of the Civil War and all that, General Tullius didn't want to take the chance of this one Nord potentially getting away, when he also knew that the Aldmeri Dominion would be present at the execution of Ulfric Stormcloak. So Svaknir, being an innocent bystander, unfortunately got loaded onto the prisoner cart without much of any reason or explanation of why he was getting loaded up on the cart. He was just essentially stripped of all of his belongings and forced basically to get onto the prisoner carts. He is familiar with the Stormcloaks and their part in causing the Civil War in the first place. During the Great War, he had relatives and friends that got sent off to the Great War, down to Cyrodiil to help defend the province from the Aldmeri Dominion. But he was never enlisted. His value was definitely much in his professional occupation, which was mining, and his minor smithing work. If anything, he would be able to make basic weapons, basic armors, and small things like repairs to the iron fixtures and fittings on carts. He could mine shoe horses. Sorry, horseshoes. That was bad. That's not how you say horseshoes. Spearheads, things like that was more of what his job was, but he could do minor smith work. Like I said, his main focus and his main duty to the Empire during the Great War was mining. He even had a book in his possession of all of the known locations of at least the more popular mines throughout Skyrim. But unfortunately, that was confiscated when he was falsely arrested? Question mark. But that is his basic story up to this point. I'm pretty sure that during this series, I'm going to come up with more lore pieces. Also has a great conversation to be had in the comments section. I would love to hear your take on possibly what he was doing throughout his life, basically. But also I might come up with a few bits and pieces that I might interject in the discussion. As far as mods that are being used, I don't want to spend this entire intro of the game explaining mods, but I will do mod explanations in more depth as I go. That will probably be more after this introduction of the game, because we could be here for literal hours talking about my mod list. So I'm not interested in doing that. However,
Hear that? Storm clouds. Maybe we can reason with them.
let us continue with Havar and get out of Helgen.
Hold up now. You want to die? Let me see if I can get that door open.
Always nice to find upgraded gear. It's definitely more comfortable and proficient in war axes than shield swords. He can use swords, but not his preferred method of combat.
Let's go.
I know we just got into the game, but I'm not liking how my health is not regenerating. Oh, I know why it is. I have survival mode enabled already.
Damn, that dragon doesn't give up easy.
What are you doing?
I mean, I wouldn't.
To get out of Helgen, now!
These Imperials have potions in here. We're going to need them.
It also does use shields. He prefers the heavy armor variety of equipment, but for now, this painted shield will work.
I cannot miss. Do your worst. You're gonna stand. No.
Oh, I thought I killed him.
See if we can find some food.
Interesting.
Might come in handy.
Like I said, I'm running with survival mode enabled already just because of a mod that I have running actively running right now that's dependent on survival mode. I'll get into that a bit later. He's not going to go into alchemy much unless later on it seems like he has to. I'll take those sharp sticks.
Done then? This way.
I'm going to chug one of those healing potions.
The torture room. Gods, I wish we didn't need these. Hear that? Where'd you come from?
There we go.
You fellows happened along just in time. These boys seemed a bit
Ow.
upset at how I've been entertaining their comrades.
Don't you even know what's going on? A dragon is attacking.
I'm just going to grab his bracers,
Helgen.
complete my armor set. Oh,
A dragon.
gotta put my helmet back on.
Don't make up nonsense. Although, come to think of it, I did hear some odd noises coming from over there.
Come with us. We need to get out of here.
You have no authority over me, boy.
Didn't you hear me? I said the keep is under attack. Wait a second. Looks like there's something in this cage.
Don't bother with that. Lost the key ages ago. Poor fellow screamed for weeks.
See if you can get it open with some picks. We'll need everything we can get.
Sure, take all my things, please.
Grab what you can and let's go.
I'm not going to lockpick, I'm actually going to bash them. Maybe. Here we go. I think the gold that was on the bottom of the cage was true before.
There's no way out that way.
I am going to bash these doors open because, as you can tell, still increases my one-handed. Oh, come on. So there are elements of this game that I'm going to roleplay the best I can, in the sense of what would be useful to Svaknir.
We have to stick together down here.
And I'm kidding, especially since our help is dead. I'll roleplay in the sense Svaknir
Oblivion are we supposed to go?
choosing what quests he'll pick up and why he drops them.
Not your best.
Better loot, but we're gonna attack for that.
Let's see if we can find a way.
It's hard to block when You have no stamina. Definitely taking that. Accidentally entered the menu there. Also, my movement speed is greatly reduced. Which I'm also going to drop one of these, I think. I'm trying to grab as much as I can for money reasons, and I'll explain why later on. I didn't want to exactly. These hotkeys figured out. Yeah, that should work. That's interesting. I thought everyone started with 150 carry weight, not 200.
Over here. Let's see where this goes.
That's strange.
No going back down there. I guess we're lucky that didn't come down on top of us. We'd better push on. I'm sure the others will find another way out.
Here's a little secret. So basically what I'm saying about the whole role-playing thing is that there are going to be elements that are going to be out of character just because it's in the game. Because of my mod list, this game is, or this playthrough of Skyrim is going to be a lot more difficult
That doesn't go in.
than
I guess we'd better try.
your regular either mod list or even vanilla. I mean, vanilla is very easy to exploit and know what you need to do. Oh, I missed. You moved too fast. Good boy. But I think it's time that I need to start walking to get my stamina back.
This looks like a plan.
Water can jog for miles. And days, but I can't.
Hold up. There's a bear just ahead. See her? I'd rather not tangle with her right now. You might be able to sneak by. Just take it nice and slow and watch where you step. Or if you're feeling lucky, you can take this bow. Might take her by surprise. Go ahead. I'll follow your lead and watch your back.
I'm gonna grab that. This and that.
easy does it.
Did it detect us? That was a very aggressive roar and stance.
That was close.
Svaknir's gonna see if he can get those arrows back. Oh. Yeah. I realized it would just take too much time.
This looks like the way out. I was starting to wonder if we'd ever make it.
Oh. We're almost level 2.
Looks like he's gone for good this time. But I don't think we should stick around to see if he comes back. Closest town from here is Riverwood. My uncle's a blacksmith. I'm sure he'd help you out. It's probably best if we split up. Good luck. I wouldn't have made it without your help today.
Well, I think the reason why Hadvar is going to keep talking to Svaknir in the sense of like, oh yes, be new to Skyrim.
Listen, you should go to Solitude and join up with the Imperial Legion. We could really use someone like you. If the rebels have themselves a dragon, General Tullius is the only one who can stop them.
It's almost like Hadvar is trying to be politically correct. He doesn't want to accidentally assume that because Svaknir is a Nord that he's going to just immediately know what Skyrim is.
See that ruin up there? Bleak Falls Barrow. When I was a boy, that place always used to give me nightmares. Draugr creeping down the mountain to climb through my window at night. That kind of thing. I admit, I still don't much like the look of it.
That being said, Svaknir is pretty much familiar with most of the layout of Skyrim. At least the capitals of each hold. And maybe significant settlements throughout each hold.
These are the Guardian Stones. 3 of the 13 ancient standing stones that dot Skyrim's landscape. Go ahead, see for yourself.
Well, Svaknir is a warrior type. That is for certain. This is part of
Warrior.
mod called Mundus.
I knew you shouldn't have been on that cult the minute I laid eyes on you.
Mundus is one of many mods that is part of what is called the Simon Rin suite, made by the Simon Rin team. I have all of their mods downloaded. In fact,
As far as I'm concerned, you've already earned your pardon. But
Thank you.
until we get that... Who's there?
oh, already in combat. Wow.
Now you're mine.
Oh boy. I'm probably gonna die. Ah, this is gonna suck. Ooh. And since I quick saved, I can't. I can't go back to a previous save unless I go to autosave. Oh my goodness. Fun times. I don't think I have anything that can actually help me. I didn't harvest those frostbite spiders. Yeah. This was all a bad idea. Once I can hopefully kill these guys, I will explain what all of this is. Okay. Oh, come on. It probably will be. Oh, I'm not liking this. I think that was my best option, though, is to run away. Wait for them to sort of lose their interest. Those wolves helped out a little bit. Funnily enough. I know this is a bit gamey, but I really don't have a choice. Let me get close to you. Problem is that once my stamina's out, I can't run. Attacking is still possible, but it's reduced significantly. I might just have to do my best to do basically tactical retreat. Oh. Come on. Also, I'm tired, so things are going to be sluggish. Just gonna have to let the wolf go. Hadvar is just going to keep doing his thing because he's currently in combat. Now, Svaknir is no sniper with a bow, but I think he's going to try his best to help him out. I'm definitely going to quick save here. This is a better time to quick save. Oh, that's Hadvar. Oh boy. Prepare for that arrow shot. I don't have much carry weight left, so I'm just going to keep going with Hadvar.
I'm glad you decided to come with me. We're almost to Riverwood.
Well, if you played Skyrim before, that was certainly not the easy stroll to Riverwood that it usually is. Svaknir definitely needs a breather. And really, so do I. That's good enough. Hungry, tired. Without magical help, he would be dead.
What happened to you?
Are you in some kind of trouble? Keep your voice down. I'm fine, but we should go inside to
Dragons
talk.
now, is it? Please,
What's going on?
if you keep
And
on like
who's
this,
this?
everyone in town will think you're
He's a
crazy.
friend.
And
Saved
I've
my
got
life.
better
in
things
fact.
to do than listen
Come
to
on,
your
I'll explain
plans.
everything, but we need to go inside.
It was a dragon. It'll
Okay,
kill us all,
okay,
and
come
then you'll
inside.
believe me.
Sigrid will get you something to eat, and you can tell me all about it.
It's fun waiting for NPCs to go through doors.
Sigrid, we have company.
Hadvar, we've been so worried about you. Come, you two must be hungry. Sit down and I'll get you something to eat.
Now then, boy, what's the big mystery? What are you doing here looking like you lost an argument with a caveman?
I don't know where to stop. You know I was assigned to General Tullius' skull. We were stopped in Helgen when we were attacked by a dragon.
A dragon? That's ridiculous. You aren't drunk, are you, boy?
Husband, let him tell his story.
Not much more to tell. This dragon flew over and just wrecked the whole place. Mass confusion. I don't know if anyone else got out alive. I doubt I'd made it out myself if not for my friend here. I need to get back to Solitude and let them know what's happened. I thought you could help us out. Food, supplies, a place to stay.
Of course. Any friend of Hadvar's is a friend of mine. Glad to help however I can. Like I said, I'm glad to help in any way I can. But I need your help. We need your help.
Okay. Necessities then. I'm not grabbing that. If I could, I would give his lockpick back, but I can't. Food is a necessity. I'm sure he'd be fine to grab more later. Yeah.
The Jarl needs to know if there's a dragon on the loose. Riverwood is defenseless. We need to get word to Jarl Balgruuf in Whiterun to send whatever soldiers he can. If you'll do that for me, I'll be in your debt.
So as I said, Svaknir is familiar with the capitals of the holds and the basic overall umbrella state of affairs with Skyrim and its political structure and turmoil at the moment. However, he doesn't know the Jarls specifically, so he is going to ask about the Jarl.
Jarl Balgruuf. He rules Whiterun Hold. A good man, perhaps a bit overcautious, but these are dangerous times. So far, he's managed to stay out of the war. I'm afraid it can't last, though.
Which side is he in favor of?
I don't think he likes either Ulfric or Elisif much. Who can blame him? But I've no doubt he'll prove loyal to the Empire in the end. He's no traitor.
He knows who Elisif is. Her recent husband got murdered by Ulfric Stormcloak. You support the Empire then?
Of course. Skyrim has always been part of the Empire. That doesn't mean I support everything the Empire's been doing lately. But Nords have never been fair-weather friends.
That's who you're talking to, of course. Can you use your forge?
I see no harm in it, if you have the skill. The grindstone will improve your weapons. Use the table to improve your armor. If you've got the raw materials, you can use the forge to make something new.
Alright, thank you. That'll be all for now.
Until next time.
Did you really see a dragon? What did it look like? Did it have big teeth?
Hush, child. Don't pester your cousin.
You're gonna check something real quick. Okay, I was still just double checking a few things. So with basic, I just got a notification saying that I'm very hungry. Okay, all right. Yeah, one of the Simon Rin mods that I have is Starfrost, and it does manage your hunger, tired, and cold a little differently than survival mode. It was just saying that I'm very hungry. This is a really nice loading screen mod. Gives you a bit of lore information on the bottom right, and it has wonderful artwork. But anyway, with very hungry, I was expecting my stamina bar to be significantly reduced. But the reason why it's only that way is because being tired, your magicka and stamina with Starfrost is reduced by 10%. As opposed to it tired only being magicka and hunger only being stamina and cold only being health. It is distributed differently and it behaves differently and in a bit more, I feel, a more realistic way. It's also less of a pain to deal with. But being very hungry, yeah, my health, magicka, and stamina regenerates 25% slower. Oh, I did get an injury. I believe it was from... Oh, it was from when we were fighting those Stormcloaks in the last room of the keep before we went down to where the fighters were. So actually, if that's the case... Let's see what... actually, I do have the gold. I might as well get a soup. Or make one, because I do have rabbit and pheasant. It's always best to try to make your own food.
Ragnar, are you listening? The ale is gone. We need to get it fast.
Oh,
Did you hear me?
Yep, ale's going bad.
there should be a text box that popped up.
Just make sure we get a fresh
Well,
batch.
it popped up just with no text in it,
Let me know if you want anything. I think I got a clean mug around here.
which is concerning. I'll be back, guys.
I'm the innkeeper. It's my business to keep track of strangers.
Uh-huh. Well, welcome back, everyone. Sorry about that. Okay. I will admit that I'm not the best at modding Skyrim, at least keeping it stable. So what happened at that point was that is a sign of my save file being corrupted, which is unfortunately solved very annoyingly with the save game, exit the desktop, launch the game again, manually load to your save, and then it's fine. So I'm just gonna try to play the best I can with the scripts that I have.
We got rooms and food. Drink, too. I cook. Ain't much else to tell.
I, sir, need a ladle.
Of course. A little coin always greases the wheels.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then.
To see if it was worth it this time. Okay, so I can make basic stuff. Oh, garlic carrots, interesting. Let's do meat specifically. Oh, that's not considered meat? Strange. A coffee tinkered. I guess there's coffee in this game. With my mods anyway. We do with rabbit. Oh. Or pheasant. So all I can do with pheasant is pheasant roast. Okay, I might as well do that. Let's see if he has juniper berries for us to do the other
Need a room? Talk to Delphine.
thing for
Take a
rabbits.
look.
No, unfortunately. That's fine.
Until next time.
That means I can at least have this. I think that makes me a bit hesitant though. But I thought, oh, that's right. We're not dealing with actual survival mode anymore. Because with survival mode, that would have had like restore 220 hunger as opposed to just health in general. I forgot. Anything going on with my health, my hunger? Oh, I'm no longer hungry. See, this is what I mean by scripts not working, because I think, in theory, I should have had a pop-up in the top left with my hunger status. Okay, I'm going to see if what I'm thinking is correct. Well, actually, I just looked in the save and load menu, and there aren't any, because when you know your file is corrupted, instead of there being the image of your screen when you load the game or save the game rather, it will have instead like a multicolored thing with like red, green, and yellow, but basically having a very low pixel image saying just I am instead of having the image, meaning the file is corrupted, but no, it was just fine. So maybe there just isn't contextual updates yet for Starfrost, which would be helpful, but I guess not. What time is it? Wrong thing. Wow, 11:30. Okay. Let us, I think this late in the night, Alvor and Sigrid's place is going to be closed. Because even though they say, hey, we're willing to help you the best we can, they can't keep their door unlocked for you. Which, for that solution, the developers honestly should have given the whole handing you a key option for Alvor and Sigrid, like they would if it was Pod and Herder. They hand you a key just fine, but they don't with Alvor and Sigrid for a very bizarre reason. If there even was a reason, it's just bizarre, quite frankly. weather is horrible. Yeah, so I think because of my injury... Oh, just stamina and magic are reduced by 25. Walked too far. It is probably locked. Yep. Okay. I guess it's time to sleep in the inn.
Come on in. We got warm food, warm drinks, and warm beds.
Well, I hope you have the warm beds because I'm somewhat soaked, I'm sure.
That visitor been poking around. Sure thing. It's yours for a day.
You've had more than enough. Besides, you still haven't paid for the last one. I'll find
I do have the Candle Hearth Hall mod.
Till then, I've no way of you.
Which is an inn and tavern inn overhaul. Again, part of the Simon Wren suite that I mentioned earlier. Now, this is a nice wait screen menu, where it obviously tells you how long you'll be sleeping, and what's convenient is that this is the current time. This is the time you will wake up at. And it's even nice enough to tell you the current weather at each time that you enter this menu. The only bits that are really static are the icons indicating the time of day that is between dawn and dusk. And depending where you are in the day, based on those 4 icons, this gray bar will shift. Almost like hour and minute hands. Anyway, let us rest for 8 hours. Yeah. That'll get us close enough to 8 o'clock that by the time we get outside, it'll probably be 8 o'clock and we could start selling stuff. Oh, we could also level. I forgot. I do have increased health because of the Warrior Stone. I'm going to pick Stamina. My first perk, I think, will be Smithing. I'm no longer feeling stressed. That's good. I do have a mod that's called Stress and Fear. Which I'm surprised there wasn't anything that popped up in, because usually there's stress or something like that that pops up here. Again, it might have been in that weird funk thing with the scripting being off. Okay, good. When I was leveling, my magic and stamina didn't update. When I went back into the game, my bars were restored, so I was just double checking. Alright, well, there's nothing left for us in the inn. Although... Oh, I guess we're not hungry. Interesting. Actually, I do want to show you something from Starfrost. I have stamina. Yeah, I'll show you a bit later. But basically, I need to get enough gold that I can buy something or make something that... So I already have a food that restores my... has has a stamina regeneration bonus. I need something that also regenerates my magicka and health. Alright, I'm done walking.
Take what you need, my friend. Within reason, of course.
What do you have for sale?
Take a look.
Okay, we do need the dagger for the tanning rack. I think I'm going to sell these. Now, one thing you'll notice as I'm selling these items, values are significantly reduced. That is because I have a couple economy mods enabled at the moment. And it makes things like buying and selling very rough. You could almost think of it as
Anytime, friend.
a similar mechanic as the Cutthroat Merchant plugin for Obscure's Overhaul, I think it's called, for Oblivion. And it makes, yeah, a lot of what I will be needing for upgrades and things like that, it'd be more economic to craft myself or to hope that a bandit or an enemy that I end up killing has upgraded equipment, essentially.
Well, one of us has to do something.
I said no. No adventures, no theatrics, no thief chasing.
Well, what are you going to do then, huh? Let's hear it.
We are done talking about this. Oh, a customer. Sorry you had to hear that.
One of the economy overhauls also overhauls Speechcraft. I believe it's the Economy Improvement and Speechcraft Overhaul is the name of the mod. EISO. And that is what basically just, it does two things. It redistributes items that you sell or buy to vendors that would actually sell or buy those items. Instead of a general merchant, for example, buying and selling everything possible. They do have a restricted list. Like, for example, normally in vanilla, you could sell the mage hood and mage robes that I picked up from Helgen. He won't sell them or buy them. I would have to go to an actual wizard, either court wizard or the College of Winterhold. And then the second mod that I have.
Well, I don't know what you overheard, but the Riverwood Trader is still open. Feel free to shop.
It's a mod called.
Oh, a bit of this and a bit of that.
I should just wait for dialogue to end. But anyway, it's called Skyrim Economy. I believe it is, or Sky Economy. It's a mod that basically has economy fluctuation based on events in Skyrim, whether that be the season, the current season. It can even be linked to whether the Civil War is finished or not. Are you okay, game? Autosave. Are you crashing right now? Do I have to go to Task Manager and end you? That's what I'm going to do. One moment. Welcome back, everyone. Sorry about that. Basically, when that freeze happened, my computer, being as old of a potato that it is, was basically saying, I've been on far too long and have been doing so much that I'm just going to basically force myself to take a breather. And that's what it did. I am hungry, apparently. Okay. Yeah, it's going to take me a while to adjust back to Starfrost as far as its penalties in relation to, or how it's changed from throughout mode. That took me a while to figure out what to say. Anyway,
Take what you need, my friend. Within
Oh.
reason, of course.
I already sold stuff to you. Now, one thing you would notice is, like, for example, those guard gauntlets that I sold that were magical enchanted. Oh, first of all, for explanation, the reason why I have picked up both improved and magical equipment, I wasn't expecting a smelter here. That's cool, I suppose. Anyway, both enchanted and improved armor and weapons are from a mod called Loot and Degradation. You might have seen it pop up from time to time on the right-hand side of my screen. Basically, icons of my armor and weapon categories. That is because when I improve items, as I use them, or as I get attacked by people, it's going to function the same way as it did in Morrowind and Oblivion, where you using your weapons and enemies attacking you, damaging your armor, it will degrade over time. Now, how that script works is that obviously because there aren't just condition bars for your items, it actually knocks down. Oh, that's reminding me of something. It knocks down your tier of improvement down to the lowest or to the next tier. There was an option for me to enable the chance that basically if I have unimproved items, basically from fine to nothing, there's the potential for basically a percentile chance that the item would break. I thought that would make this particular mod list that I have a bit too harsh, more harsh than I intended it to, so I didn't enable that.
Take what you need, my friend. Within reason, of course. Blades, helmets, pretty much anything to suit your needs.
Yeah, so there's this equipment repair kit that I can do these repairs on the go. They're essentially like the repair hammers and tongs from earlier games. However, I don't have 153 gold to spend. There is an option for me to use it in the tanning rack. However, I would need leather and a hammer, which technically I might be able to buy those two things.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. What do you have for sale?
The finest weapons and armor.
Leather, 82 gold. Sure. And a hammer is 66. I can also, for money, have Alvor or any of the blacksmiths out in the world temper my weapons and armor.
Keep safe.
Basically do the work for me, because they'll already have the materials. And also, in each day that passes within the first 6 months of in-game, blacksmiths, whether you have them temper your stuff or not, will gain a little bit of experience each day. However, if you do commission them basically to... Hello, Wolf. If you commission them to temper your weapons and armor, they will, I believe, gain more experience. Come on. Can I pick you up? Yes, I can. Nice. I think what's making the limit, the carry weight higher, is the mod called Ethereus. I don't have the ability to carry you. Ethereus, which is the racial mod overhaul in the Simon suite. Yeah, there are only those 2 wolves ever in this part of the map. I need to think about getting a distant terrain mod. That looks horrible. Technically a distant terrain mod that won't completely tank my FPS. I think I have installed one in the past that has worked. I think I'll install it for next time and see if it works. Is that more rain coming in? Gotten gray all of a sudden. Yep. As you can see, my health bar is reduced, and that's because of the injury portion of Starfrost that is also linked to Blunt and Blade, the combat overhaul from Simon. That's unfortunate. So this has already been done already, but it occurred to me with those iron swords and Stormcloak cuirasses, I could have broken them down to get iron ingots. The ability for me to break items down comes from the complete crafting overhaul redone. Mod, and yeah, it's because of how poor the selling price is for items, it's best to try to see if you can actually break down the items than it is to just sell them. Like, for example, I think the iron swords were only 3 gold? Something like that.
Fool had a coffin in a cart with a broken. Like to see him laugh his way out of that.
I believe that was 3 gold. And an iron ingot, I didn't look at it when I was in Alvor's inventory, but an iron ingot is probably around 50 gold to get. So if you can craft those for free, essentially by breaking things down, that is far better for your pocket, with my mod list anyway, than it is to just sell them. Sell the swords and or sell the items and try to buy iron ingots. This mod list is definitely all based on gathering your own resources and scavenging, basically.
Halt! City's closed with the dragons about. Official business only.
But yeah, another thing that will make money difficult is bribing. Bribing is now linked to your speech skill, not your actual level, your character level. So because my current speech, I believe, is 15, that's why it is that value. The higher my speech goes and my relevant perks are enabled or selected, that will decrease. However, I have news from Helgen about the dragon attack.
Fine. But we'll be keeping an eye on you.
It's an interesting piece of fur. I think that's from Immersive Armors, I believe. Okay. That was a very long loading screen.
We'll pay whatever it takes, but we must have more swords for the Imperial soldiers.
I just can't fill an order that size on my own. Why don't you swallow that stubborn pride of yours and ask Yorland Greymane for help?
I'd sooner bend my knee to Ulfric's Stormcloak. Besides, Greymane would never make steel for the Legion.
Have it your way. I'll take the job, but don't expect a miracle.
This actually occurred to me just now. So even though Jarl Balgruuf is neutral in the Civil War at the moment, it seems like you can still have independent contracts essentially from the blacksmiths of Whiterun. Because even though the Jarl is neutral, that doesn't mean the civilians are forced to be. They can still take a side, and I guess still support who they want to support, basically. Without the Jarl forcing his political views or agenda on the populace. Which I suppose is okay. Technically in-game it doesn't actually really affect anything.
Battleborn, give me your money. I don't have any money.
I know your family's honor is important to you, but we can't afford it.
It took me weeks to find that thieves' den. I can't stop now, and I can't get the sword on my own.
So you're willing to starve your wife and daughter to reclaim some rusty old sword?
I just need to hire one, maybe two.
So I'm sorry if I get carried away talking about mods. My mod list is just that type of mod list. Unfortunately, because of how my brain works, it's easy for me to get distracted when I get onto a new topic because I see, ooh, a new thing to talk about. So if there are when I'm talking about mods and I get distracted easily, I do apologize. There's just a lot to go through. Like I was just about to mention, obviously I do have a city overhaul for Whiterun, and it's an awesome mod. It makes Whiterun seem more like an actual trading hub that it's meant to be. That's not portrayed at all in the vanilla game. Whiterun in vanilla just seemed like another just town, like all the others. Well, I've sold everything I can sell at the moment, so I guess my only place to go, although I just remembered, I am technically very hungry. But like I said, because of that injury that I got from the wolf, my maximum health is reduced by 10. That's what you're seeing at the on my health bar. Took me a few minutes to get there, but I finally explained why my health bar is the way it is. Oh boy, my brain is a very jumbled mess of just information processing. As far as hunger, let's see if this bread will fix it. Yes. Yeah, so if I'm well rested, as you can see, I gain 10% extra experience, while if I'm just rested, it's 5%. So you want to try your best to be as well rested as possible. And I wasn't able to get to it, but if I ate a bit of food that would restore magicka, health, and stamina regeneration, 3 different foods to do those 3 things, I would get a well-fed bonus, and that would get another, I would be getting another fortify experience benefit for another 10% extra experience. And I believe those 2 benefits last for 8 hours, if I remember correctly. It's the same duration as your well rested bonus in vanilla. And so the more you can actually, it gives you a proper reason to actually eat your food outside of the issue of, oh, I'm just hungry and I have stamina reduction. It has a bit more, it gives you more incentive to actually eat. I suppose that's the Jarl, sitting on his mighty throne.
What's the meaning of this interruption? Jarl Balgrup is not receiving visitors.
I have news from Helgen about the dragon attack.
Well, that explains why the guards let you in. Come on then. The Jarl will want to speak to you personally.
Okay.
So, you were at Helgen. You saw this dragon with your own eyes?
Yes, the dragon destroyed Helgen, and last I saw it was heading this way.
By Smear, Irileth was right. What do you say now, Proventus? Shall we continue to trust in the strength of our walls against the dragon?
My lord, we should send troops to Riverwood at once. It's in the most immediate danger. The white dragon is lurking in the mountains.
The Jarl of Falkreath will view that as a provocation. He'll assume we're preparing to join Ulfric's side and attack him. We should not...
Enough! I'll not stand idly by while the dragon burns my hold and slaughters my people. Irileth, send a detachment to Riverwood at once.
Yes, my Jarl.
If you'll excuse me, I'll return to my duties.
That would be best. Well done. You sought me out on your own initiative. You've done Whiterun a service, and I won't forget it. Here, take this as a small token of my esteem. There is another thing you could do for me. Suitable for someone of your particular talents, perhaps. Come, let's go find Farengar, my court wizard. He's been looking into a matter related to these dragons and rumors of dragons.
So while we're slowly walking over in Farengar's direction, one thing you'll also notice is that so far there has not been a single note played from the vanilla soundtrack. The reason why that is because I have the Lorcon soundtrack overhaul, which, even though that's what the mod title is, it also technically overhauls the interface sounds. So like that thing that you just heard. I'm also running with the Nordic UI interface mod, or UI mod, user interface mod. That comes with its own sounds as well, but with Lorcon, it requests that you override all existing interface mods in that sense for it to override the audio. It also asks that you don't add in other mods to your mod list that replaces the vanilla soundtrack or alters it, because that's its job. Yeah, it's a wonderful bit of soundtrack of music as a whole, hours and hours of music added to the game to make it a different experience. And there are still bits. I've probably played, I don't know, 8-10 hours with Lorcon, and there are some tracks that are repetitive and they do consistently play, but there are others that still find their way through. I'm like, oh, that's new and different. Anyway, let's continue with this quest.
Farengar, I think I found someone who can help you with your dragon project. Go ahead and fill him in with all the details.
So much mystery.
So the Jarl thinks you can be of use to me. Oh yes, he must be referring to my research into the dragons. Yes, I could use someone to fetch something for me. Well, when I say fetch, I really mean delve into a dangerous ruin in search of an ancient stone tablet that may or may not actually be there.
Now, Svaknir actually grew up with tales and stories of dragons, not specifically dragon war specifically, but dragons as a whole, as far as the myth and legends of like Olaf One Eye and those kinds of stories. So dragons coming back to the front of people's attention. He is going to be a little more curious and inquisitive about dragons and their function, basically.
Ah, no mere brute mercenary, but a thinker. Perhaps even a scholar? You see, when the stories of dragons began to circulate, many dismissed them as mere fantasies, rumors, impossibilities. One sure mark of a fool is to dismiss anything that falls outside his experience as being impossible. But I began to search for information about dragons. Where had they gone all those years ago? And where were they coming from?
So what do you need me to do?
I learned of a certain stone tablet said to be housed in Bleak Falls Barrow. A dragon stone, said to contain a map of dragon burial sites. Go to Bleak Falls Barrow, find this tablet, no doubt interred in the main chamber, and bring it to me. Simplicity itself.
You think you can tell me about Bleak Falls Barrow?
An old tomb, built by the ancient Nords, perhaps dating back to the Dragon War itself. Ah, maybe you just want to know how to get there. It's near Riverwood, a miserable little village a few miles south of here. I'm sure some of the locals can point you in the right direction once you get there.
How do you know the stone tablet is in this barrow?
Well, we must preserve some professional secrets, mustn't we? I have my sources. Reliable sources.
Mm-hmm. Just real quick, can you tell me more about the Dragon War?
I'm not surprised you've never heard of it. Even I used to think it was just a myth. But not anymore. The Dragon War was a real event, although only the barest glimmer of the actual events has come down to us. Far back in the Mythic era, the dragons were worshipped as gods in Skyrim. Many of the monumental ruins that still dot the landscape were in fact built as temples to the dragons. The details are lost, but at some point, the Nords rebelled. After a long and terrible war, the Nords overthrew their dragon overlords.
So were all the dragons killed in the war?
Oh no. Many were killed, of course, but many survived into historical times. Why, this very palace was built by one of Balgruf's ancestors to hold a captive dragon. Hence its name, Dragon's Reach.
Ah, the Olaf One-Eye tale. I guess that's all I have time to discuss with you. Actually, one quick thing.
So, you wish to master the arcane arts?
Not particularly, but also just want to get rid of these. Also those. Jarl Balgruuf is probably standing there tapping his foot impatiently.
You know, if you've got the aptitude, you should join
Anything we can use to fight this dragon, or dragons, we need it quickly, before it's too late.
Of course, Jarl Balgruuf. You seem to have found me an able assistant. I'm sure he will prove most useful.
Succeed at this, and you'll be rewarded. Whiterun will be in your debt.
Oh, okay. I'm also getting tired, apparently. Anyway, so this basically starts the chunk. This is the first chunk of the main quest that's actually meaningful, quite frankly. This is where I believe we will end this first session. A few quick things. Before we delve more into the main quest, I do want to reveal a little more of my mod list without boring you again with more mod details. However, this is a mod list that is semi main quest focused. Not to the point that it's the only quest that I'm going to focus on from this point moving forward. But it is just enough of a focus that it is still a major part of, or will be a major part of Svaknir's story and development. The main things that contribute to this mod list are actually mods that relate to the dragon cult. One of them is the World Eater cult, I believe the mod is called, but basically it makes Alduin more powerful and more of an actual destructive force of nature, is a good way to think about it, than he was in vanilla. He has a lot of buffs. Take this helmet off. And the shield. He is a lot more powerful and a lot more of a force to be reckoned with than he was in vanilla. That is because he actually has the dragon priests that are around in Skyrim, the named ones anyway, actually give him power, essentially. Even though they are essentially liches, if you want to think about it like that, they still give Alduin power because of their worship to him, essentially. And in destroying those dragon priests, depending how many I kill or defeat and who I defeat, there will be buffs that Alduin has that will actually be reduced, well, technically removed from his abilities and his attributes and things like that. There is a cool... Oh, and this is tied with the Dragon Cult Dragon Priest mod, which I don't know the full details of it. I kind of want to explore for it myself organically. But Svaknir will at some point come across a book that it give lore descriptions and things like that of the dragon priests and where they're located. Instead of it being in all of a sudden, hey, I acquired this quest and there are now map markers everywhere where the dragon priests are. So he will somehow acquire that book. And on top of that, Draugr in this game are going to be more powerful as well. Again, it's another mod that is linked to Dragon Cult, the Dragon Cult. It's made by the same mod maker as the Dragon Priest one, but it's just called Draugr. It's basically a Draugr overhaul. It makes the Draugr a lot more formidable. There was one play test that I was doing of this game, and it was actually in Bleak Falls Barrow. There was just a basic standard Draugr, wearing no armor, having no weapons. However, it was able to cast Oak Flesh on itself. So there are a lot more versatility in the Draugr, mostly because the mod maker...
This isn't a good time.
Yeah, I'm sure it isn't. It's also getting late, I assume. Yeah, 8 o'clock. Anyway, there are more ranks in the Draugr faction, essentially, so there's more flexibility to actually give the Draugr more benefits based on those tiers. Those ranks, rather. So yeah. I also have the Parthenax Dilemma mod, which will be introduced more as we go along.
Need
Okay.
anything else? Just let me know.
My scripts have stopped working. I'm going to see how I can actually get that to work again. I might just have to reinstall the game. And hopefully that's all I have to do to fix it. Because uninstalling and reinstalling the game allows spare loose scripts to resolve themselves, and you can kind of get rid of them. Anyway. So that my introduction doesn't... Not introduction, my outro last for much longer. Yeah, this series is definitely more main quest focused, and there are going to be really hard things. I have deadly dragons enabled. I have those bandits that were giving me a real hard time at the beginning to Riverwood. That was from organized bandits in Skyrim, which basically make bandits more frustrating. Much like the Draugr have extra tiers, have extra ranks in their structure, bandits are going to have the same thing. They're going to be different levels of bandits than what you're used to seeing in vanilla. And it gets rough. I do have the game set to adept difficulty, and that's basically where I'm going to keep it at because I want it to be that difficult. These difficult mods and difficulties in combat, I also wanted to be that way so that I actually feel inclined to properly take a follower. Because in most playthroughs of Skyrim, I don't bother with followers because I find them annoying. Annoying to manage mostly. So if I do have followers, it makes those more difficult combats a lot easier. Mostly because it's another person to take more damage, but also deal more damage. Instead of it just being me. Basically, it's an extra force multiplier if you want to think of it that way. There are also survival mods in the sense of like Hunterborn and things like that, which I actually just realized and remembered that I have a wolf that needs to get field dressed and stuff. So that will be something I do next session. I'm going to get out of this main area. So Svaknir, after a very tiring, not introduction into Skyrim as a whole or as a province, but basically introduction into the actual nitty-gritty details of Civil War, and he saw some of the important figures. Technically all three. I don't remember her name, but technically the head of the Thalmor embassy was there at the failed execution of Ulfric Stormcloak. But he met Ulfric. He didn't meet, but of course he saw General Tullius. So he is getting a bit of a more clarified perspective of what the Civil War actually is and how much is at stake for the province in that sense. He did ultimately go with Hadvar, but he still has room for options to decide which side he picks. We will see how that continues on in the story. That will end it for this session. And without further ado, I hope you have a good day, be safe, and I will see you next time at the table. Bye.